A fatal crash Tuesday night in Wharton County is under investigation. And the man accused of Edna cheerleader Elizabeth Medina's murder is on the court docket today. Plus, a vehicle fire closed U.S. Highway 59 northbound Wednesday morning.
And we got some more nice spring weather coming our way. Warm weather, that is, before the clouds pick up this weekend. Before that eclipse on Monday, we'll take a look at that and the weather coming up.
East versus West was wacky and wild, and we wouldn't have it any other way. I'll have the highlights coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 4th day of April 2024. The time is now it's 6:30 on our Thursday morning, and it's Vitamin C Day.
Vitamin C Day. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it vitamin C or vitamin D that comes from the sun?
I believe
vitamin D,
D
correct?
is the sun.
I think it's D. I think D is the sun.
But vitamin C is like in orange juice. And
yeah,
citrus.
good for your immune system and
really,
stuff like that.
Both of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, yeah, both D and C are both good for your immune system.
The sun was out so bright yesterday afternoon. It felt so good after a chilly morning. I think we have another chilly morning in store for us today.
Yes, we actually do. It's a little bit chilly right now if you're tuning in with us this morning. In fact, if you're tuning in with us this morning, you're looking live here in Eastern Victoria. Well, look at that. The sun is starting slowly coming up on the horizon. And in fact, a little fun fact for you, in the month of April, I think we're going to gain about 45 minutes total of daylight time during the day. So that's a little cool fact for you for the month of April. But here this morning, like I said, I'm not there yet. It's still a little chilly right now, about 48 degrees out there this morning. And it's because we've got some clear skies, so all that heat can escape up into the upper atmosphere. But not too humid, not too dry here in Victoria, with your humidity at 80%, maybe just a tad humid, but not too bad out there this morning for us. But looking at for the rest of the crossroads, all of us are in the upper 40s this morning. Along the coast, you are in the low 50s and mid 50s because you're right next to that water. Well, the water temperature is still 71, keeping you nice and consistent with those temperatures. But for your weather headlines today, sunshine, that sun that Carolina was just talking about, it's going to continue today and tomorrow, but that's going to stop because on Saturday, those clouds are going to start picking up right before the eclipse comes our way on Monday. Very unfortunate, but we'll look at that later on sunrise because thunderstorms are going to start returning next week as well. Rain chances and storm chances increasing going into next week and even on Sunday as well. But we'll look at that later as well. But right now, today, getting up to about the mid 80s for today. Going to be a nice warm day. And it's also going to be a bit dry with your dew points in the 30s. So that sun is going to make it feel a little bit warmer than what it really is. But tonight, dropping back into the mid 50s, so a little bit warmer. Finally out of those 40s. And then tomorrow, another warm day in the mid 80s. But tomorrow, a bit breezy tomorrow. Not today, only going to be gusting right around 10 miles an hour. But tomorrow, probably between 20 to 25. But we've got lots more nice weather still to come before the clouds return. And we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A fatal crash in Wharton County is under investigation. At around 8:15 p.m. Tuesday, 3 vehicles crashed on U.S. Highway 59. A 2003 Chevy Trailblazer traveled northbound before it hit a concrete barrier on the north side of the highway and then rear-ended a crane truck. Once it came to a stop, it was hit by a 2013 Kenworth truck, tractor, and trailer. The driver of the Trailblazer, Roy Spradley Jr. of Bowling, died at the scene. An update on the ongoing murder case of an Edna cheerleader, Elizabeth Medina. Today, the man accused of Medina's murder is on the court docket starting at 9 a.m. A Jackson County grand jury indicted 23-year-old Rafael Romero in February. He's accused of intentionally causing the death of Medina while in the course of committing or attempting to commit burglary, robbery, or aggravated sexual assault. We spoke with Elizabeth's family Wednesday, and they told us that Elizabeth's mother, Jackie, will be in court today for this update. It's not clear if the district attorney plans to pursue the death penalty in this capital murder case. 18-year-old Kiana Andrade faces a charge of graffiti in Refugio County. Andrade graffitied the Refugio County Sheriff's Office building and several other downtown businesses. She faces a monetary loss between $750 and $2,500. She has posted bond. No one was hurt after a vehicle fire closed U.S. Highway 59 northbound Wednesday morning. The vehicle was on the 961 on-ramp to U.S. 59. Authorities at this time ruled the fire as accidental. We turn now to the final preparations for Monday's historic solar eclipse. Some schools are closing early. Indiana has declared an emergency because of the crowds expected, and some prison inmates are suing to get the chance to go outside, and everyone is asking, will the weather cooperate?
Just over 4 days to go. Communities across the U.S. are over the moon about the total solar eclipse, the first of its kind in the U.S. since 2017.
Look how dark it is, how quiet it is.
Some schools are canceling classes, while others in the eclipse's path plan some out-of-this-world lessons. In Detroit, students will release a weather balloon to document the event. Indiana's Butler University is recording the sun's corona using these special telescopes. In upstate New York, elementary schools have created special curriculums to help kids understand the eclipse.
Students need to know the why behind the experiences in our lives.
From schools to prisons, some New York inmates are suing the Department of Corrections for preventing them from watching the cosmic event, claiming their religious rights are being violated. One of the inmates saying, "I don't believe that just because I am incarcerated that I should be denied this opportunity, especially when this eclipse is scheduled to happen during normal outside recreation time." The Department of Corrections says the lockdown is intended to ensure the safety of inmates and staff.
It's really rare that we get to have a shared collective experience.
Despite the anticipation, meteorologists warn severe storms are possible Monday for parts of the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, potentially blocking the view. For those inmates suing to see the eclipse, safety glasses will be handed out in case they can see the eclipse from their assigned work location or housing unit. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
Buildings were toppled by a 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Taiwan. The quake was the strongest to hit the country in nearly 25 years. This was a scene in a city located about 11 miles south-southwest of the quake's epicenter. Search and rescue crews are using specialized detection devices and dogs to locate those who may be stuck inside collapsed buildings. Taiwan's fire department said at least 9 people have died and 882 people were hurt. Chef Jose Andres, the founder of the World Central Kitchen, calls the Israeli attack that killed 7 of his aid workers targeted. In an interview with Reuters, Andres said the World Central Kitchen had clear communication with the Israeli military and were aware of his aid workers' movements. The 7 workers who were killed in the strike included a U.S. dual citizen and citizens of Australia, Britain, and Poland. Israel's military has expressed severe sorrow over the incident, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it unintentional. We'll go to Washington for more later. The U.S. economy added more jobs in March than economists expected. Payroll processing firm ADP says private payrolls increased by $184,000. ADP reported that wages for workers who stayed in their jobs increased 5.1% from a year ago. Job gains were fairly broad-based, led by leisure and hospitality with 63,000 jobs. Most of the growth came from companies that employ more than 50 workers, with small businesses adding just 16,000 to the total. And here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Calhoun County Commissioners Court approved the renaming of a section of a road between Farrick Road and Watley Road. The new name is Maybell Castle Road. Plus, the Seafarer Center at the Port of Point Comfort. Port Lavaca is offering a wide variety of services for the men and women whose cruise ships are passing through. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Let's take a look at the clock right now. It is 6:38 on our Thursday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. A highly contagious and serious airborne disease is on the rise.
International outrage is growing after Israel's airstrike that killed 7 humanitarian aid workers. I'm Christiana Cordero with the latest from Washington.
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, followed by your weather and health forecast, and later on Sunrise, we'll take another look at the cloud cover that's returning right before the eclipse on Monday. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're all tuning in with us this morning, you're looking live in Cuero. Well, look at that. That sun's starting to slowly come up. Got a nice little purple skies out there. Very pretty out there this morning. But if you're going to go out there to look at that sunrise, a little chilly out there, you might want to grab a jacket because right now it's 49 degrees up there in Cuero, and lots of us are in the upper 40s and low 50s this morning. But a little bit humid up there in Cuero with your humidity at 88% under those calm winds. But I'm expecting that to drop today with those dew points dropping to the 30s for today, especially when it's going to be nice and sunny today as well. But if you're seeing your kiddos out the door, it's going to be right around 50, so a little bit chilly. You might want to pack them that jacket, but they're going to be taking that jacket off this afternoon because we're getting to 85 degrees this afternoon. Going to be warm and sunny, and also with that sun really beaming today and the really dry air that it's beaming through, it's going to feel a little bit warmer than what it really is today. So very high UV index for today, and the grass pollen is high today as well. But we got lots more nice weather still to come before the clouds increase this weekend. And we'll take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. And that's it for weather. Go look at sports with Zach Brown.
Victoria East versus Victoria West almost always delivers, and last night out on the diamond, same story, just a different ball game. In the bottom of the 5th inning, the West Warriors trailing 3-1, but had 2 runners on, and Aiden De Leon trying to move his guys over. That's a great bunt, but the throw is wild, so 1 run's going to score. Coach Jay Perez going to send the 2nd runner to the plate. He's safe, and we're all tied at 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning, and that's going to really get the West side into it as Aiden De Leon gets to 3rd. But the next batter tries a squeeze play, does not work. The Warriors would live to regret it because we would go into extras. The Titans had 2 runners on, and the West throw to first is down the right field line and into the corner. Now it's Coley's turn to wave his runners around as it is now 5-3 in the 8th inning, and the East side now making a little bit of noise. The Titans would then tack on 1 more insurance run to make it 6-3, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Braddock Raven comes in after Gage Goldman's fantastic outing. He's going to get the win on the evening. Now, the good thing about this particular game, we get to do it all over again this Friday. Round 2 is going to be at Riverside Stadium. The West Warriors need to bounce back as they continue their push for the postseason. And I'm not sure if you guys heard or not, the Houston Texans blockbuster trade. Stephon Diggs is the new wide receiver 1, calling it Houston Texans Super Bowl champs. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Outrage is growing over Israel's strike that killed 7 aid workers with World Central Kitchen. Several of Israel's allies have condemned the attack, including the U.S. Chef Jose Andres, meanwhile, accuses Israel of targeting his aid workers.
Frustration echoes around Israel today as its war with Hamas approaches 6 months and 33,000 people killed. Families with loved ones still held in Gaza stormed Israel's parliament, heckling lawmakers and smearing paint on the glass, pressuring its government do more to free the hostages. President Biden is expected to speak with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today for the first time since Monday's airstrikes that killed 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers, among them Zami Francom. Founder Chef Jose Andres shared a video she took in 2022.
The community are really enjoying this meal, and we are very happy to be here serving.
Chef Andres accuses Israel of killing the aid workers intentionally.
So this was not just a bad luck situation where, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place. What I know is that we were targeted deliberately, non-stop, until everybody was dead in this convoy.
Netanyahu's foreign policy advisor tells ABC News the attack was not intentional.
It's a tragic event that happens in war. War is a tragedy.
Netanyahu is now calling up reservists for Israel's air defense system after Iran vowed to retaliate for this week's airstrike on its consulate in Syria. The airstrike killed 2 Iranian generals. The escalating conflict has led a top U.S. official in the Middle East to warn the war has a destabilizing effect in the region. Back home, the State Department is urging Israel conduct a swift, transparent investigation into the aid workers' deaths. In light of the attack, at least 2 humanitarian aid organizations have suspended operations in Gaza. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. If you're interested in becoming a teacher, Cuero ISD will hold a presentation April 8th at the Cuero Junior High School Library. That event begins at 4:30 p.m. and also on April 8th, the Cuero City Council will appoint 2 replacements. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. The time is now 6:45 on our Thursday morning. Still to come, U.S. State Department leaders told House investigators they created the Afghanistan withdrawal plans from scratch after the fall of Kabul in 2021. All right, it's time. It's time to celebrate those birthdays. Happy birthday to actor and comedian Eric Andre. The comedian host turns 41 today.
Happy birthday, Eric Andre. And happy birthday to the impossible David Blaine, the illusionist and endurance performer, is 51 today. Happy birthday, David.
And happy birthday to Iron Man himself. Marvel actor Robert Downey Jr. turns 59 today. He was a really good villain in Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, he was a great hero as Tony Stark as well.
It's true.
And happy birthday to Craig T. Nelson, the coach and actor, turns 80 today. Happy birthday, Craig. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click on More and under Home, you'll see KVU to submit your birthday.
And the time is now 6:46 on our Thursday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
Yes, happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. It's going to be nice and sunny for today and tomorrow, but coming our way this weekend, the clouds are increasing right before the eclipse. And that actually leads to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asks, what type of cloud cover do you think there will be during the eclipse? It looks like 20% of y'all say partly cloudy with no rain expected, about a fifth of y'all, and 4% of y'all, looks like it's dropped a percent, say partly cloudy and rain is expected. 62% of y'all, majority of y'all say mostly cloudy with no rain expected, and 14% say mostly cloudy with some rain. But to vote on today's weather poll and future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather to participate and see what everybody else says as well. Now, looking at what's going on here we go. We're starting off with today. Nice and sunny, as you can see, not a cloud in the sky. Nice and sunny. It's going to be nice and warm today, actually, getting up to the mid-80s. But coming our way tomorrow, it's coming our way tomorrow, probably right around noontime. A couple clouds coming out of the west, but I think it's going to be sunny up until the late afternoon, where we might see some mostly sunny skies and the clouds finally start returning. But as you can see, all day Saturday, plenty of cloud cover, and then Sunday also some cloud cover is sticking right over all of South Texas. That's right where the eclipse is going to be, of course. But going into Sunday, maybe a couple isolated showers on Sunday. But here we go into Monday morning, 10 a.m. A couple showers probably coming out of the Gulf because there's lots of moisture return coming out of the Gulf where all that water is still warm. But with the moisture return comes cloud cover. As you can see right around, here's the time of the eclipse, right around 1:30 is the time. Lots of clouds. So I'm thinking 70 to 80% cloud coverage and about a 30 to 40% chance of rain for Monday. But we'll look at all that more in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Measles is a highly contagious, serious airborne disease caused by a virus that can lead to severe complications and death. Currently, there's an increased number of cases across the country. We spoke with the director of the Victoria County Health Department, David Gonzalez. He told us this is all due in part to unvaccinated children.
So we're definitely seeing an increase. And just to compare to last year, we only had about 58 cases and 4 outbreaks over the whole course of 2023. So we've already met those numbers.
Gonzalez reports a 2 to 3% drop in vaccinated children over the past 5 years. That adds up to about 250,000 more children exposed to measles. Most of the cases were linked to international travel, and they were mostly unvaccinated children around a year or older in age. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, is your child up to date on vaccines? Okay, 31% of you say yes, 9% of you say no, and 60% of you don't have children. All right, come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Many Apple users were unable to access their favorite apps for a brief period of time. U.S. State Department leaders told House investigators they created the Afghanistan withdrawal plans from scratch after the fall of Kabul in 2021. 3 top State Department leaders delivered testimony behind closed doors about the final days of U.S. presence in Afghanistan. The interviews are part of an ongoing investigation into the 2021 evacuation that involved the death of 13 U.S. service members. Back in 2021, John Bass, Jim DeHart, and Jane Howell were the 3 leaders who were rushed to the country. Interview transcripts say they had little time to prepare and no evacuation plan. House Foreign Affairs Committee Republican Chairman Michael McCaul plans to put out a report on the investigation later this year. In Michigan, prosecutors have asked a judge to sentence the parents of the Oxford High School shooter to at least 10 years in prison. A jury found both James and Jennifer Crumbly guilty on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in 2 separate trials this year. On Wednesday, in a newly filed court document, Oakland County prosecutors asked for a 10 to 15-year sentence. They claim the parents have both showed a chilling lack of remorse. Jurors found them both negligent in allowing their son to have a gun and ignoring signs of his spiraling mental health. Both parents will undergo sentencing on April 9th. Many Apple users were unable to access their favorite apps for a brief period of time Wednesday. Some of the services affected by the outage included the App Store, Apple TV, Apple Music, and Apple Podcasts. The status page of the Apple system noted an outage for those services that began around 6:30 in the evening Eastern Time. The outage appears to have been resolved about an hour later. The outage comes hours after some Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp users also reported issues with the apps earlier in the day. Have you checked your lottery ticket? There was no jackpot winner in the Powerball drawing Wednesday night. In case you missed it, the winning numbers were 11, 38, 41, 62, 65, and Powerball 15. The jackpot now goes up to an estimated $1.23 billion. The next Powerball drawing is Saturday night. The Victoria Central Appraisal District election is set for May 4th is canceled. Only 3 candidates registered in time for the election. They are certified as unopposed and elected. Joining the Victoria Central Appraisal District Board of Directors are Judy Clegg in at-large position 1, Zed Stewart in at-large position 2, and Dale Zook in at-large position 3. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we have time for a final check of our forecast with Parker. Parker, it's looking beautiful up there. Wow, look at that sunrise.
Wow.
I see Ariel's jumping out of the water over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually get out of the way for you. Look at that beautiful sunrise out there on the coast this morning up in Port Lavaca, but not too bad of a morning. A little bit chilly out there this morning. All of us in the low 50s, and actually most of us are in the upper 40s. But along the coast here, next to that water, keep it a little warmer. Right now, about the low 50s, 52 out there. It's a little chilly. You might want to put on a jacket if you're heading out there this morning. But like I said, all of us in the upper 40s. The coast is in the 50s, but looking at your clouds, as you saw there on the camera, not a cloud in the sky, and there is not a cloud in the entire state of Texas right now. And that's going to lead to another warm day today, getting up to probably the mid 80s. I'm thinking 85 is the high temperature for this afternoon. And then tonight, we're dropping right back to the mid 50s, so we're finally out of the 40s. I know some of us don't like the chilly weather, but we've got more warm weather coming our way tomorrow, getting to the mid 80s again. But coming our way this weekend, the clouds are going to pick up right ahead of our eclipse on Monday. And I'm thinking 75 to 85% cloud cover, and I'm thinking 30 to 40% chance of rain for the eclipse.
Well, it is looking like a beautiful weekend.
Yeah, it's looking like a beautiful weekend, but not so good next week.
All right, Parker, well, thank you for your forecast.
Of course, Carolina.
And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Thursday. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join Karina, Don, Mac, and Zach today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Don't forget your carrots.